All right, I will breeze through this one. This one is Introduction to the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees, next slide. Does it give an overview? Yes. Okay. So the Board of Trustees are 11 volunteers. They do the financial and management oversight of both organizations, and we'll go through each of them and how they fit in that role. There are a broad amount of people in this or in the Board of Trustees, whether they are active or they were retired. They never served in the military, but they have connections and are tied to the Air Force Association, or were simply in our organization and then held a high role that would provide great insight to both organizations. As far as strategically, they work with their executive directors to help accomplish the mission of our Honor Society, and they're huge on fiscal oversight and making sure that we are going in the right path, and also giving us a lot of legal guidance. They serve as great mentors and role models. They are great people to know. They will be at NatCon. And so if you see them, reach out to them, shake their hand, and tell them thank you. They also volunteer their time, and they are a great set of volunteers for our organization. Next slide. So our fearless leader is General Duncan McNabb. General Duncan McNabb is the previous U.S. Transportation Command Air Mobility Commander. He's an Air Force Academy graduate. And General McNabb loves talking. So if you ever see him, he loves when you come up to him. He's our chairman of the board. He's also the chairman of the Airlift Tanker Association. So he will be there, I think, the first day of NatCon. And I believe he'll be on stage. I'm not quite sure what our schedule is looking like for him, but they are always there. They always have a meeting separate than NatCon. While you guys are meeting in your sessions, they're having Board of Trustees meetings. So he will be at NatCon, and please say hello to him while you are there. Okay, next slide. General Dick Bundy. General Dick Bundy is a previous executive director organization. He served for 10 years right before General Woodward came on. He's a pilot. He has been extremely involved in the Air Force Association. He was previously the vice chairman of aerospace education. Judy usually attends with him, which is his wife, but it's always Easter weekend, so she has been staying back the last few years. But they are the dynamic duo. Judy also served as the administrative assistant, much like what Marianne does. So he will also be at NatCon this year. Next slide. Nikki is one of ours that served as the business chair, protocol, and then national vice president in her term during Silver Wings. She's an AFA Life member. She's really involved in Junior League. She lives down in the New Orleans area, so it was really nice to have her this past year, really close. But she's a valuable asset to our team, holds a lot of history of the Silver Wings organization and partners with Honor Society. Just extremely valuable. Next slide. Colonel Copsey. Colonel Copsey was a previous commander for Air Force ROTC at Marquette. Command pilot. He's been a really great asset to our team. Because he was a commander for Air Force ROTC detachment, he understands a lot about how the detachments work and helps us through that process. Next slide. Bonnie Dunbar. Bonnie Dunbar is one of our distinguished alumni. What's really cool about Bonnie was she was a NASA astronaut. And so she is a really great source for students who are interested in that field. She also was a professor at Texas A&M and has worked at the Seattle Museum of Flight as a president and CEO. So a lot of students enjoy talking to her because she has a different background than most of our Board of Trustees. Next slide. General Flowers. He is always at NatCon. Great to have around. He served for 46 years as enlisted, graduate of Southern Illinois University, former Holmes Center commander. He recently wrote a book, and it's not on here. I think it's called Reflections of a Servant Leader. You can find it on Amazon. He was really promoting it at last NatCon, but also a recent add to our team. Next slide. Colonel Steve Hiss, sorry, excuse me, distinguished graduate of Purdue, pilot, commander, Air Force Reserve Officer Training Corps at Detachment 890. And then we've always needed to add people who have connections to universities. And so he's currently the Director of Student Services and Alumni Engagement at University of Virginia. So ads like this allow us to have connections to schools and really see that student connection and what we need to do to better our heart of our organization, which are our chapters and squadrons. Next slide. Steve Lepper. So General Steve Lepper has been a recent add to our team, which was really valuable. We didn't have any legal advice on our team, and we really needed that as big as we are as an organization. And so this was our strategic add for Steve Lepper, is that he was a Deputy Judge Advocate General for the Air Force. He served active duty in the Air Force for 35 years. He is really our go-to when it comes to legal advice. Next slide. Bev Menser. Bev Menser is a diehard LSU fan, and she will let you know that. She was super excited to be last year at Big Easy Con. She's a prior national president for Silver Wings, and one of the really cool things that we have about her is that she served as an ExxonMobil executive, all the way from an engineer up to an executive. And so currently she teaches at Purdue University. She's a counselor there, and she truly helps out the Purdue chapter that's at the Silver Wings chapter that's at Purdue. Next slide. Marianne Thompson. So Marianne Thompson is a jewel to our organization. She actually served as an officer on the first Angel Flight National Staff, and she's the one that designed the insignia on your lapel that you wear at all of our conferences. She's been instrumental to the Air Force Association. She's a curriculum director at one of the Smithsonian museums. And what's really cool is that Marianne Thompson was actually an elementary school teacher, but she has served as an aerospace education specialist for the AFA. And she has lots of great stories. So next slide. Jerry White, General Jerry White has been on our board for quite some time. He is one of our more quiet board of trustees, but has a lot of history and has done some really great things for our Air Force. Next slide. I think that's our end of our board of trustees, if I've counted them right. Okay.
Yeah, letting me change those. Yeah.
That's it. Yep. He's our last one. Are there any questions I can answer about our board of trustees? If there's one takeaway I would ask that you guys have from our board of trustees, is that they are here to serve you. They have a wealth of knowledge, and they really serve as our financial and legal oversight of our organization. They pay, if you saw prices, when you register for NatCon, they pay a lot of money to come to NatCon, and they're doing it because they love doing it and they love serving you. And they love seeing those organizations thrive. So if you see them, be kind to them, introduce yourself, and tell them thank you. So with that, I think that's the end of what I need to say.